Since the rice is done yet, okay, I can come and finish it if it's done yet.
Well, it looks like the camera's working on the YouTube now with the little one. That was a big one. When I click it on, I don't know. What happens is the programming doesn't open up the True Vision on the UCam, and I found all the programming. I don't know. Anyway, when we first moved back here from Oregon, right after I was born, Dad couldn't find a livable wage, and he was trying to work for the postal system. So we moved out to Oregon, where they would let him work for the postal system. And when everyone in the 80s, my older brothers graduated high school, and everybody moved back here. Dad put in some applications at some places, and he got from being a second in charge of the post office he was working for to being a letter carrier back here. And he took a huge pay cut to be able to be allowed to move back here. It was a devastating blow on us. When we got back here, we bought a house, and the payment was $600 a month, and we basically could afford the payment on the house, and Dad getting to work and food, and that was it. There was no more money after that. And when we left Oregon and came back here, the mom and dad was probably sacking away more than $600 a month after their bills, because there was, we were going to the bank every paycheck to deposit money, and he had several accounts, and we paid for the whole trip back here with our savings, and then we had a down for the house when we got back here. We had anyway. When we got back here, me and Craig was helping Grandpa on the farm here. And one of the things Grandpa did besides beef cattle and working for the state of Missouri as a supervisor and consultant in the farming industry for the entire state, he did a bees and honey. We had a sign up at the road. People would come down here, knock on the door. We didn't even know who they were. We never met them before in our lives. We had people from as far as Columbia drive down here just to talk to the Grandpa and get honey from him. It wasn't until the 80s that a friend of a friend of a friend and some little bit of schooling got him this job. And it was a couple people pulled some strings, and he was appointed to the position, and he worked that job until he retired, and then he died shortly after. It wasn't very. It was anyway. Things. One of the things we did with him was help take care of the bees. We were out tending to the bees, and he had the only bee suit. He'd go over and he'd pick up the bee stuff, and he'd mess around with the bees, and then he'd holler at us, and we'd go over without bee suits, and we'd take some of the stuff over and set them on the truck and stuff like that. And then we all thought it, me and Craig thought it was just whatever, and it was pretty fun. We got to spend time with Grandpa, and he'd tell stories and joke around and stuff, and and just the way it worked. When we came over one day, Grandma and him was talking about tending to the bees, and she said something to him, and it really made him mad. He was upset, and he didn't take it out on her say anything. And we went out to tend to the bees, and he told us to stay back away from the beehives. And he went over, and when he got done, instead of hauling at us to come get him, he took it over and set it on the truck, and then he went back and closed it back up and stuff. And and we were like, "What's going on, Grandpa?" And he was like, there was some conversations and stuff, and I got in trouble for having you guys around the bees without suits and stuff because you were going to get stung." And he was just, and we were like, "What?" And he said, "It's really simple to be around the bees. Uh, you just be." And we kind of looked at him funny. And he said, "When you go and be with the bees to keep them from stinging you and attacking you, you just be a bee." And that's all there is to it. You you just go out there and you don't get excited. You don't make any fast moves. You don't get temper up and start yelling. You try to remain calm. If they start swarming you or covering you or landing on you in excess of other than just curiosity, what you do is you take a calm approach and kind of do a hum to your speech, and you just go something like hello, something like that, and just be calm with them, and they usually calm down and go and back away. And we were sat there for a little while, and then we went on, and we were kids. We just know that if we go anywhere around the beehives, not to kick them over like an idiot, and that if we had any bees come land on us other than just a handful, or they start swarming around us, to hum and hum words like and hum songs, just whatever, and slowly back away and get away from the hive, and they'll leave us alone and not attack us. Uh, um, Over the years, he would add things. He would say stuff like that, kind of like that about the cows, and just be the cow, and the cow won't hurt you. We were training dogs to hunt squirrels because Grandpa loved to eat squirrel brains and and squirrels. I like squirrels and dumplings. I'm not much of an animal eater, but squirrels and dumplings are good. And uh, it just be the squirrel, and you'll catch one. Training the dogs, you have to think like the dog. You have to be the dog, and you, if you want the dog to do what you need it to do, you need to be the dog, and to be the dog, wanting to understand what you want the dog to do, and then be able to and be the dog. uh, when I started doing construction and a few works there with here at the uh, farm and over at the house and around with the community and stuff, hornets and yellow jackets, um, wasps. Anyway, there's several of them like that. They're kind of they get up in the eaves of the houses and stuff and things like that. And people get stung and attacked. There's been people that's been killed from them, stuff like that. And during those time periods, I'm usually the person who ends up taking care of them if there's a group around. And I never wear gloves or masks or anything else. I just go up there and I calmly hum and talk to them. And it's a lot easier if I had one, like a nest or something. I could record myself doing it because I just like go into the nature of what I was shown and go right to it. And I can literally go up to a nest that's covered with 30 or 40 hornets or yellow jackets or anything, and you could have upset them to begin with, and I can walk up there and take their nest down, carry the nest down to the ground, or even knock the nest down to the ground, kill them, climb down the ladder, get poison or whatever, climb back, raid them, and kill them, and they're all sit there just like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm dead, and they don't even know that I'm a threat or a problem because I'm being them. Anyway, the point, just be.